What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. If there's one thing I know, it's how to read studies on supplements. I've been doing this since the late 90s. This is what I do. It's my life's work. So there's a big drama fest going on about Turkesterone, namely from Derek, More Plates, More Dates Company, Gorilla Mind, and HTLT, Harder Than Last Time, Greg Doucette's company. Now, the question isn't if Turkesterone works. Okay, I've gone over that in multiple videos. I've gone over the data, including the data on the extract from Uzbekistan that I haven't seen anybody on YouTube go over before. And I summarized it like no one's ever done before because I love doing it. I want to learn more about it. And if there's a breakthrough supplement, I want to know more. And the studies are very promising. Yes, they are in folks with diabetes and they are in folks with anemia, but they still showed a lot of promise. And you can't discount the animal and in vitro studies, which in my opinion set us up to design great human studies down the road. So we're in a great place to actually explore if Turkesterone is worth taking. With that being said, you've seen a lot of videos that Greg has done on the extract. Okay, saying that Derek is not using the Uzbekistani extract that Greg is using. So with that being said, I'm going to assume, based on the data I've seen, based on the lab results of the spikes of the Uzbekistani extract, and based on all the things I've seen, I'm going to assume, we're going to assume for the sake of this video, that Derek is not using the Uzbekistani extract. We're going to assume that he is using a Chinese extract from a plant in China, which also has the ectosteroids in it. But I'm going to explain to you the differences. I'm going to explain to you the data behind both. Again, on Derek's label, it says that he has the plant that is sourced from the Uzbekistan region. However, based on the chromatographs and all the things I've seen, chromatographs and all the things I've seen, it's tough. It's tough to say that it's the Uzbekistani extract. I'd be surprised if it is. I need to have a certificate of origin or something. So we're going to assume that it's the Chinese extract, but that leads us to a whole nother issue. On the label for the source of the Turkesterone, Derek lists out the Uzbekistani plant as the plant origin. If it is in fact not that plant, that is a huge FDA compliance issue. So I'm going to just go on hypotheticals. Pure hypothesis that it is not the Uzbekistani extract. I got to go on that because that's what I see. But there's a whole issue. If he is indeed labeling it that, and it is not that plant, that is a violation. That is a labeling violation. I'm just going to state that. So I'm hoping he's using the plant that he says he's using. But again, this is for the sake of, let's assume that Greg is right. And let's assume that Derek is not using the Uzbekistani source. I'm going to tell you what the difference is. And there are data on that other source. And that's why I have my notes in front of me. And we're going to go over this. And this might be boring. But before we get into the data, be sure to smash that like button. Click on that subscribe button. And be sure to share this with your friends because we're going to do some sciencing today. And before you leave, go to TigerFitness.com. Coupon code MAHA, M-A-H-A, MAHA, saves you 10% off the entire site. So we're basically comparing Turk Max and Turk Plex. Turk Max is Doucette's, Turk Plex is Derek's. And we're assuming that based on what Greg is saying and based on the charts and graphs of the lab tests that I've seen, that Derek is not using that. So we're going to go to understand the differences in ingredients, sources, and efficacy based on all the scientific data we have. I'm not going to go over all that data again. If you want to go back, I did a video on the data on the source found in Greg's product. I went over all the data in grave detail. It took me too much damn time to do. So the thing is, what both products aim to do is they aim to harness the muscle building potential of these ectosteroids. So the thing is, what we're finding out potentially is based on the amount, the percentage of the extract, the source, the plant source does matter. Okay, so TurkMax, which is Greg's product by HTLT, uses the Ajunga turkestanica. So this is native to Central Asia, namely Uzbekistan, right? It is a prominent source of ectosteroid research due to its huge, rich content of turkesterone. It's been studied for its potential to enhance muscle growth, improve recovery, and increase protein synthesis. And we do have human data, which I talked about before. The extraction process, from what I understand, from what I've read, from everything I've seen, and I've gotten a bunch of different sources for this, focus on maintaining high purity, and that makes it, it makes it good, right? They're using really good quality extract from what I can tell. Again, this is from what I can tell. I don't have a complete picture. Now, Turkplex by Gorilla Mind, which is Derek's brand, assuming if it contains what is on the label, then everything I say is wrong. But we're going to go by what Greg has presented and what I can extrapolate from the charts I've seen, from the actual lab tests and results I've seen. It would contain something called Cyanotus arachnoidea. Cyanotus arachnoidea. Now, I sell a product from Cyanotus vaga, which was an ectosterone containing plant. This is Cyanotus arachnoidea. It's sourced primarily in China. It also contains ectosteroids, but prominent in this plant is 20-hydroxyectostone, which has different bioavailability and anabolic properties compared to the turkesterone derived from the Ajunga turkestanica plant. Okay, while promising, there is not as many human data. So we have very little human data. Well, I mean, we have some human data, right? Sourced from Uzbekistan on Greg's product, but there's even less on the Cyanotus arachnoidea. So why does this matter? Well, I mean, so Ajunga turkestanica, and forgive me for my pronunciation, I am the most Caucasian speaking man there's ever been, from Uzbekistan, is well documented in scientific literature, as again we went over exhaustingly before. Cyanotus arachnoidea from China has limited human studies. We'll go over a little of them, not in detail, supporting its efficacy. As far as quality and purity, TurkMax, from what I can tell, undergoes stringent quality control, ensuring consistent and potent doses of ectosterone. Greg has provided me with multiple lab reports showing consistency among batches. Supplements derived, because I asked him, I'm like, hey, supplements derived from Cyanotus arachnoidea may vary in quality due to differences in the extraction and the processing. So again, I do think that there are some labs in China that are fantastic, but you really have to vet your labs in China. And like, if we're going to be, China's terrible, like, you don't hear much about Uzbekistan and their quality control. So like, we're going to assume that both these labs are top notch. We just have to, for the sake of this, right? So based on studies, Ajunga turkestanica, it highlights its role in enhancing lean mass, reducing fatigue, and accelerating recovery. Cyanotus arachnoidea, well, that shows potential, but the lack of extensive human trials limits definitive conclusions. So let's go over 3 studies from the Ajunga turkestanica. We've gone over this. So one study demonstrated increases in protein synthesis and lean muscle gains in subjects using Ajunga turkestanica compared to placebo. Another study highlighted improved endurance and faster recovery times attributed to unique ectosteroid profile of the Ajunga turkestanica. Another study, again, we went over these, showed superior bioavailability and anabolic activity of turkesterone derived from Ajuga turkestanica versus other plant sources. Now, look at the data on cyanotis arachnoidea. I'm going to summarize them. So there was one that identified high levels of hydroxyectostone, but showed mixed anabolic effects compared to Ajuga turkestanica. Another study suggested potential health benefits, though less conclusive regarding muscle building properties. Another study demonstrated variable results in protein synthesis and protein outcomes compared to Ajuga-derived supplements. So the key differences. So the ectosteroid profile is one. Ajuga turkestanica contains a more diverse blend of ectosteroids, particularly turkesterone, associated with stronger anabolic effects based on the data we've seen. Bioavailability, Ajuga turkesterone tends to have higher bioavailability. This enhances your body's ability to use it, its absorption, its utilization, etc. So research depth, Ajuga turkestanica has a broader base of scientific studies supporting its efficacy, while we still need more data on the cyanotis and arachnoidea, which is still emerging. So the thing is, both of these products, they offer ectosteroid-based muscle building support. TurkMax utilizes Ajuga turkestanica. We've gone over the data. It's promising, although I want to see data in trained athletes. I've said that before. While TurkPlex, assuming it does not, which I hope it does, or else it's a label issue, assuming it does not contain the Ajuga turkestanica, assuming it contains the cyanotis arachnoidea, it offers potential benefits, but it warrants further explanation. So which one do you choose? That's a good question. See, my thoughts have evolved on turkesterone. When you're looking at building muscle, I make this argument for test boosters all the time. So let's take Prima V, which is a shilajit extract. Prima V, in studies on adults, elderly adults, they were older people, found that it increased testosterone 20%. It also found a concurrent increase in free testosterone by 20%. That sounds pretty awesome, right? Now, the debate I had with Dr. Jose Antonio on Evening Rants once, because we debated the efficacy and the usefulness of testosterone boosting supplements, was that 20% is not enough to do anything, right? So if your give me an example. So if your testosterone's at 100, if I take, for example, my product Insurgent, right? It's going to get me up to 120. Whoop-de-doo. When, if your testosterone is 100 and you inject testosterone, you inject it, it'll be at like 5,000. But I make the argument that every incremental improvement, because testosterone is a transient thing. It goes up and down. It varies throughout the day. If you're natural, if you're on drugs, whatever, right? But so if you put yourself in a state where your testosterone is constantly mildly elevated, are you not in a more beneficial environment conducive to muscle gains and all the other awesome things that testosterone offers an individual? To that, Jose and I just shook hands and say, yep, we both have a point. So my opinion is, if you're trying to put yourself in an anabolic environment and you're taking something like a turkesterone, then you're going to potentially increase protein synthesis, potentially increase your glucose utilization. You're going to do a lot of these things, and the data is supportive. While it's still in its infancy, we do see, based on the human clinical trials we saw in Uzbekistan, we see based on the rodent data, we see based on the in vitro data, that there is a possibility, a better than low possibility, that this might give you some enhancement in your gains. This might help you build muscle, lose fat, and just be better all around, just be healthier. So it's up to you whether you want to try these supplements. But also when you're looking at things like, let's say I'm on my phone, I'm on Amazon, and I'm trying to choose the best AirPods case. What do? I look at the reviews. I go straight to the reviews. And I'm like, hey, here's what the reviews say. And whoa, 4.8 stars? That's crazy. What, 5,000 reviews? That's crazy. Andrew Huberman calls it anecdata. When a lot of people try something and they say that it works, and it's so much, it's beyond hype. And we're almost at that point. Now, there are people who get great results, like just from the comments in my other video. Some people are like, dude, this stuff works great for me. And a couple people were like, nope, waste of money, didn't work. But you got to realize, like, some things work for some people and there's uncontrolled variables in your life. What I like to do with supplementation is I like to create an environment based on the data I have that is conducive to my gains, conducive to my goals. For example, if I want better health and I'm taking something like ambrosia nectar, nattokinase, and I go get my blood work done and my HDL and LDL are perfect, my liver enzymes are perfect, my resting heart rate is in the 40s. I'm like, yeah, this stuff's working. I created that environment. So when I'm looking at these, I'm like, okay, how do you decide which one to take? Well, first of all, I think we need to get down to what is the source, right? Then we need to get into who is producing lab results. Then we need to get into all those things. And then you get into the anecdata. Which group is getting better results? Which group is getting lesser results? And also we need to be clear. What are we trying to get from this supplement? With that being said, that is all the data I can currently find. Summarized in, they would take me an hour to go back through the studies. I already took 30 minutes to go through last video. But what I am seeing, assuming that it is not from the Uzbekistani source, I am seeing that if I'm going to choose an extract based on data, yes, definitely going to choose Uzbekistan for now. Also, if you're looking at turkesterone content based on a percentage, yes, the Uzbekistani extract has much more of a concentration of turkesterone based on what I've been able to figure out. So if you're going to come at me and go like, you're just selling stuff, bro, I don't make a Turk. This is me just trying to help people out, man. And so I encourage you to do your own research and ask the questions. Hey, Greg, where do you get this stuff? Do you have proof you get it from there? Awesome. Hey, Derek, where do you get this stuff? Do you have proof you get it from there? There you go. Anyway, that's all I got for today. If you have any questions, want me to go further into this, I love reading studies, would love to do that for you. Just let me know, comment down below. Of course, be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, click on notification bell. And of course, remember, like I said before, if you want to try any supplement, including, well, we can't argue about creatine, right? We have MTS Nutrition, Creapure Creatine, the pure German stuff. Get 10% off, coupon code MAHA. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Marc Lobliner. That's not a game. Are you currently taking LMNT for your electrolytes? That's great. Electrolytes are very important, especially for athletes. The problem is I think they took it a little too far. 1,000 milligrams of sodium per packet. That's great if you're an endurance athlete running in high temperatures, 100 plus. But if you're not perspiring that much, if you're not doing that much activity, if you're simply exercising, well, normally, it's a lot. You're looking at intake, you take a few packets, 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day. So what I like to do is I like to flavor all my water with electrolytes, because electrolytes are vitally important for you to intake. Now, what do? I take Ambrosia Hydroglyph. So Ambrosia Hydroglyph, available in stick packs as well as bags. Now, it's beyond sodium, potassium, magnesium. It has other things that'll help your body keep muscle and perform better. It has the essential amino acids. It has your branched chain amino acids. It has velocitol, which doubles the power of those amino acids. It even has my HMB. So if you're really training hard, it staves off muscle loss. If you're looking for something well beyond the current electrolyte you're taking, something that won't overdo it, but give you everything needed to perform at your best and be as healthy as possible, Ambrosia Hydroglyph is your choice.